All right, today we're going to dive into a totally different way of looking at a feeling that, well, most of us know pretty intimately: anxiety. We're drawing on the incredible work of Cheryl Paul to see how we can shift our whole perspective, to stop seeing anxiety as this enemy we have to fight and start seeing it as a messenger, one that's actually carrying some pretty deep wisdom. So let's start with something really important. Even though anxiety can feel like this intensely personal, lonely battle you're fighting all on your own, the truth is, it's one of the most common threads of being human. In a lot of ways, it's our shared wound. Does this sound familiar? That thought that just gets stuck on repeat, questioning one of the biggest choices you've ever made over and over again? Or maybe for you, it sounds more like this, where a tiny little symptom, something you'd normally ignore, suddenly spirals into this catastrophic fear about your health. And then there are these, the really scary, intrusive thoughts. The ones that pop into your head and feel so completely alien to who you are that they just shake you to your core. Okay, so if any of that felt even a little bit familiar, here is the most important thing I want you to hear. You are so far from alone. These thoughts aren't just random glitches. The psychologist Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious. Think of it like we're all swimming in the same pool of human fears and stories. These are classic archetypal worries about love and health and being responsible that we all have to deal with. So, where do these super intense, all consuming feelings even come from? Well, the answer is actually wired into our brains. It's a brilliant, ancient survival system that's maybe just a little bit out of date. Our minds come equipped with this primal alarm, the fight or flight response. It was perfectly built to keep our ancestors alive when they were face to face with a real, physical threat. You can basically think of it as our built in tiger detector. And this right here is the mismatch. In our world today, there's rarely a tiger hiding around the corner, but that incredibly powerful high alert alarm system, it's still there. So what does it do? It latches on to our modern, more abstract fears about relationships or money or our future. And that's the heart of the problem. We end up using this life or death, predator evasion software to deal with a question about our career path. So, of course, it feels like overwhelming panic. We're using ancient software to navigate a brand new world. But what if this panic isn't just a glitch in the system? This is where we get to the really core idea of this work, and it's a radical reframing of what anxiety actually is. This is the big shift. The old way of thinking treats anxiety like a bug, like something in your brain is broken and you just need to silence it or medicate it away. But this new perspective suggests something completely different. What if anxiety isn't a malfunction at all? What if it's a messenger sent from the deepest part of you, just trying to point to something that needs your attention?
I know, that's the big question, isn't it? It sounds great in theory, but how on earth are you supposed to decode a message when all you feel is raw panic? Let's look at a really powerful example of how this actually works.
So get this. A client was completely obsessed with the thought that she had to move back home. On the surface, it was just causing massive anxiety. But when she learned to look underneath the thought, she realized it wasn't a literal command, it was a metaphor. It was her psyche's way of screaming about the deep grief she felt being far from her family, and this intense longing to reconnect with herself, her internal home, during a huge life change. And you know what happened? Once she actually addressed those real feelings, the obsessive thought just melted away. Okay, so if we want to become decoders of our own anxiety, we need a set of keys to unlock those messages. Let's walk through 4 foundational mindsets that can help us all learn how to listen. Key number 1 is curiosity. Our first impulse is always, how do I make this feeling stop, right? But curiosity asks a totally different question. It asks, what is this really about? What might you be trying to show me? It's such a simple but powerful shift from fighting to listening. Key number 2, compassion. Anxiety almost never shows up alone. It usually brings its friends, shame and self-judgment. We feel broken for feeling this way. Compassion is the antidote. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a friend who is struggling. It's just acknowledging that this is hard and you're doing your best. The third key is stillness. The messages from our anxiety are often quiet whispers, but the panic itself is a loud roar. You can't hear the whisper over the roar, so you have to create moments of stillness, a quiet walk, meditation, even just sitting for 5 minutes without your phone, to give those deeper truths a chance to come to the surface. And the fourth key is gratitude. I know, this one can sound a little counterintuitive when you're in the middle of a panic, but gratitude helps reset our inner compass. It's not about ignoring the pain. It's about recognizing that even this challenge, even this anxiety, can be an opportunity, an invitation from life itself to grow and heal. So when we start to use these keys with our inner world, anxiety stops being this terrifying dead-end street. It actually starts to transform into something completely different. It becomes an inner roadmap, a personal guide that, if we just learn how to read it, doesn't just lead us out of panic, it leads us back home to ourselves. It helps us see that at our core, we're okay, and that this challenging journey is actually part of a much more purposeful life. So the invitation then isn't to somehow eliminate a fundamental human feeling. It's to begin a new relationship with it. It's a journey of discovery. It's about transforming anxiety from a wound that holds you back into a source of wisdom that can guide you forward. This inner work is the path to healing, and it's just waiting for you to take that first step.